Wolverine. Wolverine.
Check my chicken. This is Fluxtaposed, episode 249, recorded on February 12th, 2019. On the docket today, What You Playin' featuring virtual reality and Apex Legends. Also, we're going to have a little discussion about lightning in a bottle. Does chasing a trend innovate or flood the market? Finally, we will close out the show with what's around the web and that sweet, sweet awkward finish. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and enjoy the show. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to Fluxtaposed. It is I, your beloved co-host with the mo-host? But no, it is not Jason who you hear. It is me, because our friend Jason, he needed a little vacation time. And you know what? Let's respect that. You know, I was thinking about this. You know how you have shower thoughts sometimes? I was thinking about this and I said, I'm pretty sure he's been here like every single day. Basically, there have been very few shows that he has missed. He has had to take off time because of me. He has had shows with other people when I'm not there, but I think he's only missed 1 or 2 days. Meanwhile, I'm like kicked out of school because I've missed too many days. That's how bad it is. But I am not alone in this endeavor. Thank God, because nobody would be here or want to listen to this. No. Kevin Austin from PSVG. He joins me. How are you doing today, sir?
What the hell's going on here?
Oh my God, Snake, is that you?
Oh, I think it is Lucas. You know, it's funny. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking.
Good.
All the times Jason isn't here, ironically enough, I think I am here.
Well, you're the only one who agrees to come. You honestly, you're like the last person I ask because you
That's
say
true.
yes, but you're definitely not the first person I ask.
Hey, as long as the check's clear, I'm here. Oh, wait, you didn't pay me.
It's in the mail. It's in the mail.
Oh,
we mail the
we're
checks
fine.
every last Friday of the month.
Yeah,
So
you're,
we're not
you're good
there
for
yet.
it. I know. You're good for it.
Cool. Good. Well, speaking of paying people to be my friend, you can join us on Discord. I believe that works where you go to discord.com/fluxtaposed and magic happens.
Fluxtaposed.com/Discord.
That's how it works. See,
That's how it works.
I don't
That's
do
the
this
link.
part. I'm learning things now because I tune Jason out when he says all this stuff. Also, you know what? You can support us if you like what we do here. You can basically do what I like to think of as a virtual tip jar by going to patreon.com/fluxtaposed. Do I have that one right? Patreon.com/fluxtaposed, and you can go there and you can throw $1, holler for what we're doing here, or you can give us $10. You can give us $100. I don't care. But if you like what we do, please feel free to support us with monetary value.
And actually, you do care. If somebody gives you $100, you do care.
That's true.
Yeah.
If somebody gives me $1, I do care. Actually,
That's true.
I feel like I owe them for the rest of my life. It's ridiculous. Also, of course, we're a Humble partner now, which means you can go on Humble Bundle through one of our special links, and you can buy some video games and also support the show in that way. So no monthly commitment there unless you do the Humble Monthly. But get yourself a game, throw us some spare change along the way, and we will say thank you, sir or madam. We do not discriminate here. And then, of course, we do have the poll that's supposed to be up sooner or later. I think I'm going to end up making it because Jason's pretty busy. He's got a lot of work stuff going on with, I'm sure you've heard it, with the transition from a man to,
Jason's in transition and he normally handles the poll. What are you talking about, dude?
Well,
That's not nice.
I did find these, you know how like you go in somebody else's bathroom and you just look in their medicine cabinet just to see, just to see what's in there. I did that, and there were some pills, but I don't want to get into that. What I do want to get into is we have a poll for the next Fluxtaposed Radio. We couldn't think of a better name, so it just kind of stuck. Those options, again, will be Space Opera, Sexy Time, and Horny as Fudge. So look forward to that. Please vote if you're willing, or even if you're not willing, I don't care.
Do it.
And just do it. Just do it. I don't care. And lastly, end of the month giveaway, because of course we screwed up like we usually do. And we're doing 2 giveaways. One at the beginning of this month, which already happened. We have a winner. And
Jason rigged it. Jason ripped off all
Jason
his
ripped off
orders.
I fought for you guys.
Terrible.
I fought for you guys, and I told you, send your hate mail to Jason at fluxtaposed.com.
That's really why Jason's not here. He actually got beat up in a back alley by all the Patreon supporters.
It's true. It's true. Poor guy. Poor guy. But he deserved it. Anyways, of course, we will be giving away my body, apparently. That's what the copy says, and I will read anything that is written there. So you can look forward to that. I will
get your donations in, everybody. Join that Patreon before Lucas gives away his body.
Yes. Hopefully they do it by box size and not weight. Otherwise, I'm screwed when I send myself off to whoever is the lucky winner of that one. And that's all the housekeeping, as they say on Board with Video Games. So let's get into IRL. And since you are the guest, the co-host with the other Mo-host, I will allow you to go first.
Oh,
what do you think about that?
Oh, you put me on the spot. You know, it's not like we prepared anything here. We're just totally free balling it all. Well, let's start with something you started like a couple weeks ago, and I think at this point, the whole 7 workout app thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right, 7 minutes. So I know some
7
of the
minutes in
communities
heaven,
there,
as I call it.
yeah, no, anything but actually, depending on the workout for that day.
Butt lift was awful.
Butt lift is awful. And it's something that's so simple, but then like they make you hold it, and like
that's the problem. Yeah. You're like, first 10 seconds, you're like, I could do this, and then immediately you're just like, oh my god, no, please stop.
No. So I've been doing that pretty regularly with some of the community there, and I know you've been participating in that too, and that kind of motivated me to do a little bit, to join Weight Watchers. So I put myself out here for that. Doing the Weight Watchers thing. I had done Keto Diet for a while and actually had some pretty good success with it, but I found it kind of hard to stick to it. Ironically enough, because like I'm a meat and cheese guy, so I can eat that on the keto diet. That's fine. But eventually it could be like, well, I want like a burger. And I got really tired of eating burgers without buns. That is the most disturbing thing. If you've ever been to a restaurant, at home, it's one thing, but you go to a restaurant and you're like, yeah, I'll have a burger. And like, you don't want to order it without a bun because you just sound like a tool. So you get the bun and then you have to disassemble your burger at the thing. And they always come by like, was something wrong with your burger?
No, there's something wrong with me. Exactly. I'm the problem here. Now, do you knife and fork that situation, or are you trying to? Okay, I was gonna say, are you doing? Just let me hold this wet meat patty.
I got this barbecue, bacon barbecue rodeo burger.
The messiest.
Meat.
Oh, meat on top of meat.
Yeah, I decided to do Weight Watchers, mainly because they advertise, hey, you can eat whatever you want, it is true. However, that may be the only thing you eat for the entire day if you do it wrong. So it's a whole point system for those who don't know. And basically, they do make it super easy. I know there's a lot of apps that do similar things as far as like counting your calories, but Weight Watchers seems to just do it far easier than anybody else. And you just kind of like, you scan the barcode, it tells you how many points it is, or you can even just look something up. And you can always find the point things. And it gives you a certain amount of points depending on your age, your weight, male or female.
So your point allotment will change depending on who you are?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So my wife is doing it too, and she has a lesser point value than I do, obviously, because she's a lot smaller than me and she's a woman. And so we have different point values, but they also give you like cheat points. So you get your daily allowance, but they also give you extra points that you can use throughout the week. So we kind of determine like, hey, we'll be really good, but then come Friday, typically Friday, because we both work all week, we're just like, Friday's nobody's cooking day. We're just going to go get something to eat.
Pizza.
We literally won't have to worry about it because we should have enough points saved up as long as you're under the value to splurge on Friday. So
I would use that allotment for beer, probably.
That's true. Although, I haven't had beer in so long. It's bad. I hadn't had beer since before Christmas, I think, at this point.
Wow.
Like it's just been nothing, and I do miss it sometimes. But yeah, it's been going pretty well. Been on it for about a week. Lost 3 pounds so far between that and the mild workouts we do. But yeah, having fun with that. Other than that, I mean, you got some news.
Yeah, I do.
So something that's been like, we announced it on PSVG this past Monday. So if you didn't listen, you didn't get spoiled right now. Something that's probably been a long time coming. We don't really know why. And a lot of people just automatically thought you were already part of the team because you pretty much are. Well, you are officially joining PSVG as my co-host on the PSVG Prime show starting next week. So everybody be excited
Yes.
to hear that. And we've gotten some good feedback, surprisingly. I mean, I thought this was a terrible move. I didn't actually even want to do it. Donnie forced me to.
Wow. The truth comes
So
out.
yeah. But people are excited. So we'll see. We'll see how terrible it goes. And as we both kind of decided, we're just gonna crap on what everybody else loves from week to
That
week.
will definitely happen. I will always say I didn't play it. I'll be like,
Yep.
I didn't play that, but I got this game for 99 cents on Steam, so I'm going to be that guy.
Yeah.
And you already
so-
hate everything, so
Yeah, I think this will work out very, very well. So I'm excited for that, and hopefully, I think there's enough crossover here between Fluxtaposed and PSVG anyway. So if for some reason you don't listen to PSVG, but you listen to Fluxtaposed, now you have you have a reason to listen to PSVG to hear more Lucas, because once a week is clearly not enough.
that is true. And if you're wondering why would I want to hear Lucas twice, the way I kind of think of it now is Fluxtaposed has always been described as a hangout podcast where we do talk about games, we talk about movies, we talk about this and that in our lives and stuff. Whereas PSVG Prime is a lot more focused on gaming. So, if you're into games and I don't know, you want to hear what I have to say about stuff. For instance, this week, I have too many games to talk about. So I took some of them out and put them in that for PSVG Prime. So there's a situation like that may occur. So there's plenty of reasons to listen. So I would implore you to give it a shot if you haven't. I mean, I just listened to my first episode yesterday. So,
and I mean, that makes sense. And then
horrible.
This way, you could talk about games without Jason being like, "Well, it's not Smash. I'm not. What's your
I
global
know.
Smash rank?
What
What's
is
your
with
global
that
Smash
guy?
rank, Lucas? You noob."
I guess that Smash cartridge is gathering dust. I don't even know why you bought it. You might as well give it away because
Just kill yourself.
maybe
Just kill yourself.
maybe you should give it away at the end of this month because you're never gonna play it. Not any good, anyways.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
I'm all about the single player experience, brah. Even though I went out of my way, and Tom Servo in the chat here can, or at least he was, can attest to the fact that I had to go out of my way to make sure this damn game would actually play online for me. And then I mean, you still get lag from all those rando people that you drop in with, but I'm like, I don't want to be responsible. I knew it was me because we had like a community smash event or whatever.
Yeah.
And I knew everyone else is like, I never have any problems. So I knew I was the problem.
Mm-hmm.
For once in my life, I was the problem. And I said, all right, I got to buy the LAN adapter so that I can wire this bad boy up. And then I drilled into the wire. No, I didn't do that.
Yes, you did.
I may have. It's possible. And then, I don't know, I bought a new router, all sorts of stuff, just so I could not play this game.
Not play Smash. Amen.
What is wrong
good.
with me? Good
good.
Lord.
Oh, PSVG. All of PSVG's in the chat apparently.
Dang. The entire I told you they were going to be on the next episode. The entirety
all
of
11
PSVG.
of them.
The whole,
Yeah, it's 11, not counting us. So all 11 of them are around one tiny computer.
we got a chat popping right now. We appreciate that. That's awesome. So, yeah, I'm really looking, but to bring everything back full circle, I am looking forward to, one, a podcast that I don't really have to do anything for, edit or anything. And also, sometimes it's really nice to not have a directed podcast where you can just talk about anything because there's no expectation. But sometimes that's kind of our Achilles heel too, because sometimes we're just like, what are we going to talk about? Oh, we're being hosted. That's the noise you heard. Now we're going to get twice the amount of people in the chat. That's what I want to see. We better get rated. Up to 4. Exactly. So yeah, it'll be nice to actually have like, okay, this is definitely what I'm talking about in this podcast. So looking forward to that. So
Makes sense. But that's it for me. So what have you been up to, man?
Well, I didn't really have much to talk about, but then I realized, it's been a while since I've talked about baby stuff. Because of course we have baby number 2 on the way. Baby girl this time. We went with the second option. I figure, one of each, get the set. You're good. So I feel so bad because this time around, the first time we got a lot of handouts and just stuff that was used and it's no problem. I really don't care about clothes or anything like that. But when it comes to equipment, like the things that you take with you that are supposed to make your life easier, the hand-me-downs in that situation typically are not so good because things wear out after a while. Clothes,
Oh, yeah.
clothes can get stained or they can get ripped, but there's plenty of other options. But when it comes to your diaper bag, if that thing rips, you're screwed. Or if you have a baby carrier that you do not like, then you're out $100 apparently, because we went baby shopping for that stuff. We were looking at a new pack and play because we only had hand-me-downs there, and they all were terrible. They started making those things smaller. So weird.
Yeah.
They're a little bit smaller now, which is nice because they don't really need that much room. As soon as they grow out of it, they don't really go in there anymore. So, but what's
and if
nice
they're tall
is,
enough to climb out, you just put something big and heavy over the top so they can't escape.
Right, exactly. I used my coffin. I bought it at Costco, so I already have that set. And then of course they have all these attachments that go on them, right? So they have the topper thing, or the thingy that like makes it less deep for when they're younger and they don't stand.
Oh,
yet.
yeah.
It just kind of raises the floor a little bit.
It's like a hammock.
Yeah, exactly. As opposed to raising the roof. And then they also come with a bassinet now, so we don't even really need a bassinet. We used a really old one, again, hand-me-down. And then a changing thing, like a little changing station that you just plop them in and they can't roll away, which is nice because then you get poop marks all over. So that was pretty cool. And then we were looking at baby carriers too. And when I say baby carrier, I mean the backpack, the baby backpack.
Yeah.
Of course, they go on your front though. So more of a papoose, I guess.
A baby
Bjorn. A baby Bjorn. Yes, exactly.
Bjorn.
And that was surprising too, because I guess I never really realized that you have all these different options. So you have these wrapped ones, you have ones that are basically backpacks, you have all sorts of things. And some of them have these little triangles that go on the small of your back. And I was
Illuminati?
like, yeah, exactly. Well, tramp stamp is what I call it. But so it's nice though, because you never consider it that it kind of helps disperse the weight and where you're carrying it and stuff.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And I'm just like, man, I was just, carrying them by their leg or whatever, like a giant turkey leg. But this is better. I did say they probably should put like some bowling balls down so you can plop those in there and you can get an estimate as to how it's going to feel.
How it fits, yeah.
You can put anything on with nothing in it and you won't know how good it is until you put something in it. So those are words to live by.
She said?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Did you know before you move on, did you know like infant car seats? So you mentioned like, hey, you need a new carrier and this and that.
Yeah.
Do you know they expire?
Yes, I do, but that's only because my wife is like way too like present about those things. I'm just like, why do you know that?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's insane. I'm like, nothing changed. Oh, I'm sorry. Now it has a Minnie Mouse pattern instead of like the Mickey Mouse pattern. So, this one's safer now. Like it's the same thing, and you're just buckling it with the seatbelt anyway, or the anchors. I'm like, there's no difference in the designs of these things. It's like
what plastic are you making this out of that is so brittle after 4 years that it just like falls apart? I think you redesign this, and then I will buy one of them. Thank you. It's planned obsolescence. Planned adolescence. Yes, exactly. That's exactly.
It's like IKEA was making car seats. Just after 4 years, it's just going to crumble and fall away.
I'm kind of surprised they don't actually. They probably do. They make kids toys. Do. It's like it's the obvious leap: kids toys, and then boom, wooden car seat.
With some awesome name.
God, yes. I'm not even going to try. I want to, but I'm holding.
Buckelschlecht.
Buckelschlecht. That's German. That's clearly German.
Close enough. Whatever.
Yes.
They invaded them, didn't they? That counts.
Wow, that's a history lesson for you folks. Straight from Kevin. So the reason why I bring this up is because Josh Barbone, listener of the show, he had mentioned, he was like, how is it baby shopping now that Toys R Us is gone? And Babies R Us, of course. And I never really considered that because we typically buy a lot of stuff from Target, but not everything, especially the bigger purchases. And we went to a place called Bye Bye Baby, and I think that's a local thing. It's basically a Bed Bath & Beyond, but for baby stuff. So same exact store, literally set up the exact same way. Big square with little sections carved out for each thing. So, I mean, it was okay, but I can see if like that goes away, Target, that would be like the only thing that we could where we could go. So it would be it's Bye Bye Baby is BUY, like buy
So you're
stuff.
buying babies?
Yeah.
That's even worse than what Tom Servo is
I
alluding
know.
to. Either way, it's terrible.
Yes,
Human
exactly.
trafficking?
Tom Servo says, "Good Lord, that is a terrible name for a store." So I wanted to clarify it wasn't like, bye bye, I'm dropping you off forever. And yes, it still is like, buy baby, sell baby. You can do everything here. So yeah, it was pretty interesting, but thankfully we're only planning on having 2, so it won't be my problem. It'll be my kids' problem.
We don't have anything else up here in the Northeast. It's just like it was Babies R Us and that was it. And we got Target. My sister-in-law actually just announced that she's expecting, and we said the same thing. She's like, I don't even know where to register. And we're like, Target and then Amazon, I guess. Like,
yeah,
I don't know what else you do. Like, I mean, there's certain things you want to see in person. You said like the baby carriers, like strollers, like those things you want to see. But then there's other stuff like doesn't matter. Just get it on Amazon because it's cheaper. But yeah, it's tough. It's like you got your Walmart, but I try never to go into Walmart unless I have to.
I do the exact same thing. I hate Walmart.
I hate it.
I
hate
not
it.
go there.
Yeah, it would be Target for me. Thankfully, I don't have to worry about babies anymore. But it would be Target and Amazon. You don't really have any other options around here.
Honestly, we have Amazon's killing it. They give you 15% off if you complete your baby registry, which I'm sorry, but that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. My other quick story is basically my dog eats poop. I don't know what to do about this. I guess it's a really common thing.
Is it his own poop or?
It's all of the poop. We have rabbits out there, so those are like little malted milk balls for him.
Yep.
I've caught him eating that. He eats his own poop. So one time I forgot my son, he let the dog out. Who let the dog out? My son did. There. That's the answer. And so usually I've been watching him since the dog, not my son. I don't watch my son. The dog, I've been watching him. And because he ate poop, and I knew he ate poop because I could smell it on him. And he came in and I said, "Have you been eating poop again? I can smell it on your breath." Like a horrible housewife or a very caring housewife. And then, of course, it made him throw up everywhere because guess what? Eating poop is bad for you, you dumb, stupid dog. So I have to watch him now, which, oh, God, why'd I even get a dog now? I have to actually look at him. So I forgot to do that. And he came in and he must have ate a literal shitload because I was downstairs playing VR, which I'll talk about later. And all of a sudden I hear wet gurgling noises. And I'm just like, what's going on? Because he tries to do it as quietly as possible because he knows I get upset. At least he knows. Somehow he missed the rug behind me right here, this little gray square. He missed that and puked right in front of the door right there. Which is amazing because thank God, because it smelled like the hottest diarrhea I have ever smelled.
God.
And I've smelled a lot of diarrhea.
Tom Servo in the chat.
Oh no. God. My dog ate used tampons and threw them up in my roommate's room.
Oh my God.
Gross. I bet the smell wasn't as bad though, because it was just a pile of dog food and poop, like undigested dog food. And I looked at him and I said, "Dog, you got something wrong with you, man. You need to get checked up." But, what am I going to do? I can't force him to. So, yeah, my dog eats poop and it's gross. If anybody has any I have read that the one way to get them to stop, because he doesn't eat outside, he doesn't drink outside, at least he's not supposed to, is to get him a muzzle to wear outdoors. And then if they're okay with that, he would not be. He would just try to take it off immediately. So unfortunate situation. I mean, I tried eating poop. It wasn't really for me, but he seems to like it. So I don't know what to do.
To each their own, I guess.
To eat their own. Yep.
Literally.
It's a dog eat poop world out there. Oh gosh. All right. Shall we get to the discussion? We haven't even got to the meat of this bone yet. So, Jason, one of his duties here when we decided that we were going to try was that we should probably figure out what we're going to do on these shows ahead of time so that we can still forget to do Netflixation. And he had discussion up, and I was like, "Ooh, I don't know if I want to try this, considering everything I'm going to have to do anyways." But I decided, you know what? No, we have a plan. The easy way would be to just say no, screw it, and just do whatever. But no, we're going to do a discussion, and that discussion is going to be sort of something that's kind of related to topical news these days. But it it's all throughout gaming history, really. And we'll have some examples of that. What are we talking about here? We're talking about lightning in a bottle. Like I said, does chasing a trend, does it innovate? Does it flood the market? Let's talk about it. Let's get down to brass tacks. Kevin, do you want to just read what I wrote here so that you can say something? I feel like I've been talking a lot. What are we talking about when we say lightning in a bottle?
Actually, you even wrote, "What the hell do we mean here?"
Exactly. I wrote it for you. It was like it was written directly for me.
Oh man, yeah. Basically, as Lucas said, it's basically when a game or genre or mode hits the mainstream. Typically, there's a whole host of studios that begin doing the same thing, the copycat thing. So Mario came out, then it was the birth of the 2D platformer. You know, World of Warcraft came out. There's a whole bunch of things that follow with that. Military shooters, they still haunt us to this day. And then nowadays, Battle Royale is the big thing.
Yeah, let's start there. So we had, and I don't really want to get into the nitty gritty of exactly when things came out, but this is a long list. Look at this. PubG comes out, then Fortnite. We got Apex Legends now. That's kind of the topical thing of the day. Black Ops 4, Blackout, which is a horrible name. Ring of Elysium, never heard of it. Dying Light, Bad Blood. The Calling, Rust Battle Royale, H1Z1, Survival of the Fittest. So that's the most recent example. Then, of course, everyone talks about Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, and then all of a sudden Battlefield was like, well, we need to be modern too. Actually, they decided to go with Battlefield 3 instead of Battlefield 2 because they already did that. What was Battlefield 2? I don't even remember. Was it modern or was it
Battlefield 2 might have been modern.
Because I know 3 was.
I think 2 was 2. And then when they went to Battlefield 1, that's technically when it went. Started going back.
They don't know how to count.
No, they don't. They don't. They have Battlefield 2, Battlefield 3, Battlefield. It's like Xbox naming convention. Yeah. You have the Xbox and the Xbox 360, then the Xbox One. It's like, no, we had the Xbox.
It's like the blind leading the blind here. Somebody get this figured out. Navy SEALs, Operation Flashpoint, Sniper Ghost Warrior, Rising Storm, Brothers in Arms, Arma, Rogue Warrior, Spec Ops The Line, Homefront. And then, of course, before that was World of Warcraft. We had Star Wars The Old Republic, Guild Wars, Rift, Final Fantasy XIV, which arguably never needed an online component.
Definitely
it also didn't need a movie, but that's a totally different discussion.
Yep.
Elder Scrolls Online, Terra, Lord of the Rings Online, City of Heroes, Champions Online. Now, I mean, you could make the argument, right, that obviously you can't just make a game in a genre and then say, well, that's my genre. I make military shooters and only I make military shooters.
Right.
So, I mean, that's the important distinction here is that I think we're both in obviously saying that there can't be any other MMORPGs. There can't be any other military shooters. But let's talk about why it could be seen as flooding the market. Let's make this argument. Do you have anything that you want to your opening statements for
my opening statements
market here? Yeah.
I mean, part of the thing we talked about, we wanted to decide whether it would be flooding the market or innovation, as you said. And I think it's a little bit of both overall. So when you look at stuff like the MMORPGs, obviously World of Warcraft, I don't believe was the first one by any means, because we had other stuff, you know, RuneScape and all that stuff like predated that stuff. But World of Warcraft did it better, and it got people hooked. And then at that point, that's when the ears and the eyes and the attention of the industry focused on that and said, hey, we can make money doing this too. And a lot of them weren't as good. And then some do something a little bit different that get people interested. And for me, I wasn't a World of Warcraft player simply because I was like, I'm not paying monthly to play this game I already bought to play.
Yeah.
So that for me was like never going to happen. But there were people that talked me into playing Guild Wars because you bought the game and you could play it online. And it's like, well, this is comparable to World of Warcraft, and it's you buy it once. I was okay, let me play it. So there are things I think that happened that made it more innovative in the MMORPG world that kind of made it different. But yes, we saw many just crappy games that came out and just pumped. I mean, City of Heroes I didn't enjoy that much. Was it the Matrix Online was another one that was kind of like yeah, you remember like those ones? There was so many games coming out every month. There was like a new one where it's like if you were an MMORPG gamer, you physically do not have enough hours in the day to play all these games.
That's
so
true.
It took something special really to stand out, and that's where you get Elder Scrolls Online I hear is doing fairly well. I think, you know, World of Warcraft obviously is still prominent, and people still hold, you know, Star Wars, The Old Republic in high regard. So like those are ones that have that lasting power. But yeah, we saw a lot of garbage just thrown around, especially in the MMORPG world.
Yeah, and I don't think it's very fair. Like you said, there, especially with that game or with that genre in particular, you're planting your flag on a game. I mean, unless you like, I don't know, have all this time on your hands. You know, there's only so many hours in the day that I'm gaming, and there's no reason for me to pay or even play for free a game that is upwards of, I don't know, however many hours you really want to spend in there. But, you know, the grind is 60 hours or whatever. And then, of course, there's the end game, which never ends. But is it fair to, especially with MMORPGs, is it fair to compare them to World of Warcraft or expect them to do as well? Because I feel like that was part of the problem too, and it's part of the problem of trying to, you know, get that lightning in a bottle, is that you really only have one shot. It seems that way anyways.
It's true. And the biggest thing is, and this kind of goes for all of gaming and for even movies and stuff like that, board games, another one too, is you got to have a good theme. So we saw a lot of ones that maybe just grab people because of the theme. Like City of Heroes attracted an audience because people are like, I want to be a superhero in an open world environment.
That's true.
Matrix Online, well, it's short lived. It had people playing it because, oh, dude, I want to be in the Matrix. So you had to have the theme, but then the problem is could they execute as well as World of Warcraft did? So if it came out post World of Warcraft, I would expect it to be, you know, have the similar, you know, features and gameplay style and everything like that. Like the kinks are already worked out by World of Warcraft. We shouldn't see versions coming out worse than the one that predated it in my mind, but we did, and we saw it a lot. Like you said, Final Fantasy 14 didn't need to be online at all, and we see a lot of things that just don't last. It's a little bit different in the Battle Royale world, which we'll get to, but I would expect once World of Warcraft came out, that changed that game, in air quotes, that everything else should have followed that same suit. Not that I wanted it to per se, but I would have expected the same level of quality that we clearly did not get when we were getting a new MMORPG every month. There was a new one coming out. Like Guild Wars, I think, was a good comparable to World of Warcraft. It took things that people liked about World of Warcraft and just applied it to a different model. Yeah. But it still worked. And for me, it felt a great time in my life. I was working overnights at Toys R Us. So on the weekends, I had to keep the same sleep schedule, even though I wasn't working. So I had to be up all night because otherwise I'd be all thrown up. So I would literally just play Guild Wars all night, Saturday and Sunday nights. Like that's just what I did. So it worked out well for me because I had that time. But could I juggle 2 or 3 of those games? Absolutely not. There's no way. But I do know people that tried and lost a lot of their life to it, you know, and had consequences because of that. And it's a sad state of affair. But yeah, I would have expected them to hold the same quality as World of Warcraft. They just didn't for the most part.
I hate to say this way, but I can't really think of a better way to put it. But we clearly did not even scratch the surface of games that came out. A lot of them were forgotten in the MMORPG realm. I feel like the Korean developers are somewhat to blame for this, because I swear there's a Korean MMORPG still coming out every month.
They're all mobile now too on the cell phones. They pump these things out like crazy.
Lineage, Maple Story, you know, all these weird games that I would never
Caroline,
play.
Please.
Yes, exactly. Just throwing all of PSVG under the bus right now because they're not here. Wait, yes, they're all huddled.
Oh, they were all
one.
here.
Yeah, they left. So military shooters, you know, they already get a bad rap. For as bad as MMORPGs do, military shooters were already getting stale before Modern Warfare came out, I feel like. Or at least they had come and gone, and then Modern Warfare was the resurgence of these games. And like you said, I think that especially getting away from MMORPGs, because really that's just a hotbar. You move around the world and then you press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on your keypad. The shooter is a place where you can actually innovate, right? Or you should.
You should. Yeah.
And I think the biggest problem there was that you look at something like Battlefield, which doesn't, once you get into it, it doesn't really work the same way as Modern Warfare or any of the Call of Duties. I haven't played many of the new ones, but, you know, Modern Warfare 2 I'm pretty sure most people are familiar with that game. Yeah. And so you have that impression that they're not, you just look at, if you looked at 2 screenshots side by side of each game, I think you would on the surface just be like, well, these are just two military shooters.
Yeah,
Well, what's the difference? I'll pick
exactly.
either one. I don't really care. But people who've played them wouldn't say that. But I do think, like, if we look at this list, Operation Flashpoint is completely different from either of those games.
Oh yeah,
Very tactical. Arma, same way. Brothers in Arms is, you were controlling an entire squad.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in that sense, if you enjoy the military shooter, you really have to look at it and say, all right, what is this actually about? It's not so much that it's a military shooter. It's more, is it a tactical shooter? Is it a simulation? Is it an arcade shooter? What is it about that has brought innovation to what is probably the most tired genre in all of gaming, I would think, is the military shooter. Because, and everybody who games would probably say, unless it's futuristic or set in an alternate timeline, which we are seeing now, they're trying that because it's, what else are you going to do? It just seems like it's flooding the market, and there's not really much innovation there.
No, it's true. And I mean, the military shooter, I remember, gave birth to the dude bro gamers for us, where it was
That's true.
It's the gamer that literally plays just Call of Duty and just Madden. It was typically, where that kind of came from. And it's fine. But even the military shooter itself has evolved. I mean, you got to remember, these all stemmed from being single player experiences with a campaign, with a story. And now we're getting ones that don't even have a campaign or any single player whatsoever. The focus has completely shifted for people. So you have people that were rooted in the original military shooter, like myself. I played the original Call of Duties. I bought Battlefield 4 or 5, whatever it's on now, and I enjoyed the single player campaign. I will dabble in the online experience, but for me, unless it's like a battle royale type thing, I haven't really found one that's really hooked me to keep me wanting to come back. So the military shooter overall, I think, has evolved over time. And like you said, they're kind of running out of ideas. They have to do something to stand out. So we're seeing a little bit more innovation and differentiating from each other, like you said, between the tactical shooter and just the arcadey style one. But yeah, I mean, they've gotten a bad rap, and you're right. It's like, you look at the screenshots, and if you put it in front of a non-gamer, they would probably think it's all from the same game in most cases. Like, you just look at it like, true. I don't know. It's all the same thing. It's a different field, whether you're playing, Rainbow Six Siege, or you're playing, Black Ops, online right now. It's all the same thing. It's just, but I mean, if you like it, there's enough of these games out here where at least it's not like an MMORPG where you physically won't have enough time to play through these. Typically, the fans of military shooters will have enough time to go through. They may stick with a certain one if they're like that online type gamer. They may stick that same one, but every time a new one comes out, they'll buy it, play the campaign if there is one, and kind of move back onto what they feel comfortable in.
Yeah. That's a good point. And you also raised another good point, is I'm more interested in the single player as well. When I'm looking at a military shooter, I'm actually more looking at the single player because, I'm looking at that as almost like a movie, like a Saving Private Ryan. Like, what do I get to do in this on the story side of things? And I do think there is a divide, and that's partially where this comes from, in that multiplayer is, like you said, a much bigger deal, and did spawn. I feel like it helped bring games into the mainstream, because suddenly,
absolutely,
everybody, with Halo, and then Modern Warfare 2, bringing college kids into the fold, and back to the days where people just sat around and played their Xboxes or the N64s. Now they're playing Modern Warfare 2 or whatever, or whatever the new game is these kids are playing. So let's move on to the whole Battle Royale, the newest, probably the one that you have the most experience with, at least that you can speak to now, with being the freshest in your memory. Where did you get started with Battle Royale? Because I know you played a few of them.
Yeah, I've played most of the ones on this list, actually, at this point.
Oh, no.
The first one that got me into it actually was, in fact, PubG, because of my brother-in-law. He's a huge PubG fan. That's pretty much actually the only game he plays, like, at all. It's pretty sad.
Dedication.
So, like, yeah, and so I played a lot of that to start things off, and I liked the rush of being hunted. I liked it, like, every man for himself. So it was like, it was online, which I know you said, like, you look for that single player experience, but for me, I'd always play solo. So to me, it was still a single player experience.
That's true.
But I'm battling other people that I can't talk to anyway, so it really doesn't matter. And it's just me hunting them hunting me. So I like the adrenaline rush I would get from it, as the, I'd see how many people were still left and trying to get from one place to another, or surviving a firefight. Like, that gave me that rush that got me hooked on the battle royale. So from there, it's been, played Fortnite. I still play Fortnite. I've played Blackout. I play Apex Legends now. I've played H1Z1. I've played Dying Light. I've played, there was a Realm Royale. Yeah.
Ooh.
Pretty much if anything comes out and it's free to play, or at least I have an opportunity to try it out, I've been giving them a shot. So.
Did you try the culling? Because I heard that was like the first one was really good, and the second one was just complete cash grab.
No, that one I have not.
Okay. And that's a pretty good example. The culling too. The first culling was kind of like Hunger Games.
Okay, I do know this one. At first I was like, I don't even know what this one is, but I'm looking, I'm like, okay, I know this one.
Yeah,
but I did not play it.
It did get a lot of news coverage when the second one came out, and it was a complete dud. They basically took out all of the heart and soul of the game and completely just ripped it right out of there and said, we need to get this released as soon as possible. I think there was even people on the team who like apologized for it being so bad, because they knew the writing was on the wall for that. The thing about Battle Royale for me, and I'm sure people who don't play it can also, or at least are familiar but don't play, I don't like to crouch in a corner for 60 minutes and then finally have a firefight as the last person, because it does reward people who just camp to a certain degree.
To a certain degree. And it depends on the game. Like PubG really does.
Yes, that's the
because
one
as long as you're able to get into the circle and the circle doesn't go into like an open field, you 100% will have that advantage. But in other ones that I've had experience with, it's far from it. And Fortnite's probably a good example of that, because everybody's moving around so much that you can't really hide in one spot and get away with it anymore. And they keep trying to add new mechanics in almost weekly with Fortnite to give you different ways of hiding yourself, or camouflage, or, immunity for a brief period of time. So they keep trying to do things to find a way to make campers still be competitive. But yeah, for the most part, you can't camp and get away with it too long in Fortnite.
Well, and I think the art style of Fortnite kind of lends itself to that as well, because everything's basically brown in PUBG. It's either brown or green or gray.
Yeah.
So very realistic. Whereas, and I think that's partially why, when it was just PUBG and Fortnite kind of duking it out at the beginning, it was kind of, nobody really knew where everything was going to land. But then Fortnite, nowadays, we've joked about it on the show. I go to the library and I see kids playing it. Just nobody probably used the computer before that. And then Fortnite comes out and it's just like, maybe Minecraft, I guess Minecraft, but nobody's playing Minecraft anymore. So Fortnite is really the new phenomena. And I think it is because PUBG just does not really have much in the way of a style. Because there's not really, I mean, they have that frying pan or whatever now, but I believe, but who cares, because you have Fortnite and it's bright, it's colorful, it runs on everything. And that's a good, to me, that's a sign of innovation right there. You come out as number 2 and you top the thing that was actually like, they pulled the rug right out underneath them. They were set to do well. PUBG was, and they still are doing okay, but they're definitely not, they're like the Coca-Cola and Pepsi wars right here. Which one's number one? Pepsi? Coca-Cola?
Coke.
So Fortnite's Coke.
Yep.
Poor PUBG is Pepsi. They're still good. Yeah. Whatever you like. Doesn't matter.
It's weird. Yeah, it's weird. It's like you said, the innovation is definitely there where Fortnite won this one out. So PUBG came out and it was, $30 when it was in beta, or, early access, whatever they wanted to call it. And the thing was, so you were paying for PUBG, but Fortnite was free. So PUBG released
that's tough.
Few and far between updates. So PUBG now actually has 4 different maps. So that's kind of cool. Like when you log in, you may get a different experience each time.
Oh, I didn't know
they have the snow levels, they have a jungle level, you have the desert, and you have the traditional map. But then they started getting into the cosmetic things, because that's what Fortnite was doing. And they charge $25 for a Harley Quinn skin. Out of all things, it's the Harley Quinn and the Joker are the 2 skins you can buy, and they're $25.
My God, no!
It doesn't make any sense. Fortnite will have the battle pass system, which PUBG now copies them doing it, where you spend $10 and you get 3 months worth of events, where every week you get new challenges to do, and as you complete these challenges, you get new items, whether it's a skin, whether it's a new pickaxe, whether it's a glider.
Can you win the things that are purchasable? Or are those only purchasable?
They keep them separate, but things that eventually so the stuff I can win this season right now that's ending in like 2 weeks, but down the line, if somebody didn't participate in that season, they may be able to purchase them later. So
Okay.
it's like they seem to be free first, and then you might be able to purchase them later as the months go on. They may re-release them for like a day. They update the shop every day with random items. So if you see something and you missed it, you may still be able to get it down the line.
Okay.
But yeah, and it's the great thing is as you play and get these rewards, you can actually win the currency in the game as well. So like right off the bat, you buy a battle pass, you get normally it's like 3 skins that are new for that season that have never been out before. You get a couple different axes and gliders and whatnot. So it's all cosmetic stuff. Doesn't really matter. But as you play through, you unlock more stuff, including in-game currency. So the scam I've been able to do is I buy the battle pass because my daughters like Fortnite as well. So that's good. It's a bonding experience for us to play something together. So and they enjoy it. So I'll buy the battle pass, and it lasts me 3 months, $10. But I'm able to unlock enough currency that I don't need to pay for the next month.
Whoa.
So I've been riding this free battle pass for like the last 4 seasons, I think, and I have more than enough for next season saved up too. So it's very possible that you can not spend a ton of money unless you're just buying stuff in the shop.
Yeah.
But if you play enough and you're good enough, you can unlock enough stuff to keep it going. And that's a major innovation where in PubG, that just doesn't happen. You can win the in-game currency to unlock these special chests, but like if you wanted the Joker and Harley Quinn, you will never get them by winning the in-game currency chest. You need to pay cash for it.
Yikes. They're behind the ball there.
They really are. And Fortnite is constantly, so as people want to knock it, it's constantly changing. Every week there's an update where the map will change a little bit. There's a different dynamic. So it's been winter, and like the whole map was frozen out a couple weeks ago, and they started implementing like these zombie ice creatures that would come out and attack you. So you're not only worrying about real people, you're worrying about NPCs that are coming after you too, in hordes. So, and with Fortnite, you got to be quiet. You don't want to make a lot of noise. So as I'm fighting a whole horde of these guys, somebody may come over the hill and just get me from behind and not even know they're there. But now,
if you got
exactly. But now
normally getting it from behind is not that bad, but in Fortnite,
depends. Yeah, depends.
No.
But now it's spring, so
sorry.
it's almost spring, so the map's starting to thaw out. So the once again the dynamic of the map is changing.
I hope
they're really good about doing.
Sorry,
stuff.
I hope they spent a lot of time figuring out like algorithms to determine how much the map has thawed. You know, just completely nonsense mathematics.
No, it really is, because it's like it was slowly, like the whole thing froze over slowly, and then it was going back in sections. And now
innovation.
See,
we have ice physics now.
Yeah, and they do special events where it's not just the solo, duo, and team mode. You have special like, hey, the sniper rifles only mode, and there's stuff like that. They're all limited time events. So there's always something different. As silly as it is, there's always something different in Fortnite going on.
And to me, the most important thing of that is regardless of whether or not you play it or you even you enjoy the game for what it is, they have found a way to be topical constantly with all of these changes. I mean, they talked about stuff on the Game Awards, and say what you will about the Game Awards, plenty of people saw that and were just like, watch all this, maybe I should check out this Fortnite thing. They got a snow map now, but it's true. It's like they just constantly are rolling things out that bring them to the forefront of the conversation. I want to throw one last question to you before we really, nail this thing down. Do you think that Tom, sorry, I saw it out of the corner of my eye. Tom Servo says it makes children dance, so I hate it. That is true.
And Deuterino loves the dances.
There is a lot of weird dancing going on. I'm too old to understand any of this. Okay, so I go back to like the military shooter / the battle royale. Mm-hmm. When the military shooter thing came out, I didn't really care that much. Not really, anyways. I never scoffed and just went, ugh, whatever. I'm sure plenty of people did, but Modern Warfare, whatever, I can just ignore it. I don't have to like, ugh, about it.
Yeah.
Battle Royale, for some reason, it struck at a time, and I don't blame the mode, really. I think it's a me thing that has changed. Do you think there's a problem now, or at least with once you hit a certain age or something happens in your life, where you're just kind of predisposed to just hate everything that becomes mainstream or like that people like? Or is that just me? Because I mean,
you're
feel
talking
like
to the guy that hates everything.
No, that's true. That's true. But I do feel like it's partially my responsibility not to immediately dismiss something just because it's popular. And I mean, that's true about movies, games, music. Things can be good, and I might be missing out because I just want to barf about it. I just go, ugh. People like this, so I obviously have to hate it now.
Right.
Let me get on the internet and talk about it.
It's tough because this was especially Battle Royale. So we looked at the history of the MMORPG, the military shooters. This was a long phase, if you will, for these games. Like this went and spread out through the course of years. This Battle Royale mode has like started in the last year when you think about it. Like Fortnite's only been out for like a year, but yet it feels like it's been 5-10 years. Like we've been hearing about Battle Royale. So I think it's just how quick developers jumped on this and just took whatever mechanic they had and just threw it in this thing. And that's where we're getting a few standout ones. But then we have like Ring of Elysium and Dying Light and the Culling, where it's just like whatever. Rust. I didn't even know Rust had a Battle Royale. So
it looks
these
desperate.
Right. So it's just this is a cash grab again, like we saw with the MMORPGs, but it's just more isolated. And I think you're right. The fact that Fortnite has become more of a cultural phenomenon makes people hate it more. You know, as Tom Servo said, kids dance. Every kid knows how to do the floss now and all stuff. So it's like, and it's just because of this. There's no other reason behind it. It's not like, oh, this is so great. It's just this is what happened. And that's what's tough. So now we're getting to the phase now. We're starting to see ones do things a little different. So Black Ops coming out with Blackout was a big deal because this was the first real militaristic one that wasn't PubG. So PubG is like broken. You can land on the map and the buildings haven't populated yet and all that kind of stuff. Oof. The first time I booted into Blackout, I was like, man, this all works perfect. Like this looks the way it's supposed to. So that scratched that itch. That was some innovation where they just like huge leaps. Like PUBG's been in development for years now, but Black Ops comes out as like, boom, here's our first shot at it, and it's 10 times better than what you've been working on and updating for the last 3 years, even with all of Microsoft's money at this point, you know, when it was exclusive to Microsoft. And then now Apex Legends, which came out of nowhere. We didn't even know this thing was in development. It went from nobody heard about it till it's out. They have this thing. I know you messed with it a little bit today, or you tried to at least.
Yeah, I did. Played one match.
The ping mode. I don't know if you even grasped that. That is huge. That is a huge innovation. So those that haven't played it yet, this is where you can actually ping items on the map or enemies on the map, and your character will say like, hey, there's a sniper rifle over here, or hey, enemy located right here, and it will mark it on the map for your squad to see it. So you no longer need to talk to people to play these team-based games, which is a big thing. Like I will only play like squad mode in Fortnite if it's somebody I know, or if I need to complete a daily challenge. It's like, hey, be in top 5 in squad mode. Okay, I'll do it, but I don't talk to anybody the entire time.
Yeah.
Apex makes you do it without being able to talk to them, and it's great for it. Like this is innovation. Every battle royale should have this next.
I agree. That's a very good example of innovation. Before we get to our final thoughts, I think why don't we got some listener responses. Also, Deuterinos in the chat says, I dismissed Overwatch when it first came out. I mean, it was everywhere, so I started to hate it, but I played it and loved it. Now I play the game before hating on it.
That's a great example.
It is. I do feel it's important. I feel that way about movies sometimes too, where I feel like my natural instinct is to hate something, and then it's almost like I'm too scared to spend the time to find out if I like it. So it's just easier to be like, I have no interest in this, and then I'm protected because nobody can, say, well, you really should check it out or whatever. I'm just like, no, I don't like it. And
it's hard too because. It's hard with these battle royales too, man, because it definitely has an advantage to the younger audience because just the twitch reflexes and stuff you need. So like for somebody like myself who's older, I'm okay at Fortnite. I'm confident saying that. I'm doing pretty well in Apex. I haven't gotten a win, but I'm pretty consistent in top 2 and 3 squads. But it takes time for me to get my style and get that down because I can't be as quick as these kids. So I have to find different strategies that work for me. Yeah. And for somebody who may jump into these games and be like, oh, I can't do this. Like they'll jump into Fortnite for the first time, die within 2 seconds. Like this is garbage. Like you have to invest time and want to get better at it. And that's where I think a lot of people, especially like you and me, where we don't have a ton of time to do gaming. So it's like, we'd rather play something we know we can move that needle on, as opposed to like, I'm going to grind this thing for 100 hours to get my first Fortnite win ever. Like
that is true.
It's tough.
That is true. Some listener responses to our posed question. Josh Bones, it's me at Josh Bones on Twitter says, it floods the market. Unless someone, a company, decides to not go for the cash grab and actually change up the formula a little bit. Take Apex Legends, for example. They could have just copied the Battle Royale formula, but they added character powers and changed up how we view Battle Royale games. I've seen it compared to Overwatch meets Fortnite, which I think is a really quick and dirty way to accurately describe it. Nathan says, voiced by Nathan on Discord, says, it does both. Innovation is driven by competition, and you don't have competition without a bunch of other options. So it has to drive the innovation to bring your product to the top. And then Ikaruga Buster. I love saying that. I love saying it in my head. I love saying it out loud. Ikaruga. I want to say it like Ikarumba, but I'm not going to. Host of Backlog Blues. They still do that, right? Backlog
Busters.
Backlog Busters.
Not Blacklog. That's different. Backlog.
I'm not even catching my misspeaks these days. That's how old I am. Accidentally racist. Like my podcast, chasing the trend, but getting the leftover fart smell downwind. So you're coming into the game late, my friend. You need to get on top of this. You need to start flossing the dance. Dance the floss, whatever it is. Final thoughts, Kevin. Is it both? Is it neither?
It's both. It's both. And it's a good thing it's probably both. Because as Nathan, I think, said it best, is that the innovation is really driven by the competition. If everybody's doing the same thing, no one's going to win it. So it takes something like Apex Legends to come out and say, oh, yeah, well, we've been watching what you've been doing and we're going to do it better. Let's drop it on here. And I mean, everybody's talking about Apex. 25 million players already, 2 million concurrent players already. That's insane for something that just dropped. Fortnite didn't have those numbers when it dropped. And so it's coming out with the advantage, and it's just starting. They've already said, yep, we're going to have a Valentine's Day event in a couple of days. So they already have the pipeline for improvements mapped out. If you notice their map, so Fortnite just has the map. It's the same map. Apex, it's called King's Crossing or something, I think is the name of the map. So it has a name, which implies that there's probably going to be multiple maps down the line, because why would you name it if it's going to be?
That's true.
So, and they already said they may introduce a solo mode. They may introduce a duo mode, so you're not just stuck with the 3 squads. So they've already talked about changes coming down the pipeline. I think it's getting all the attention because of how good it is and the things it's doing very different than everybody else. So you need that innovation. It keeps it going.
Yeah, I will agree. I will say it's both. I'm going to throw a percentage out there and say it's probably like 30% innovation and 70% cash grab. It feels that way anyways. There are very few games that actually come out with anything that's worth copying past the original game or whatever. Like World of Warcraft comes out with this, the next game comes out with this, then the next game copies that thing. That second game, rarely do they ever come out with the thing that's worth copying. But like the ping system, that's a really, I mean, they're, however far down the line, but that's a really good thing to do. And that should just be brought forward into many other shooter games, regardless of if it's Battle Royale or tactical shooter or whatever. I think it's, everybody wants to make a game that's good. Nobody sets out to make a shitty game, really. Cash grab or not, I think they want to.
You forgot about EA?
Most everybody. Yeah, but they're just basically the ones who pay the money, right? They're just they're shareholders. They don't actually make games anymore. They pay other people to do. They can't be bothered. I think, they hope that it hits well, but in reality, we're just left with we're left to sift through the garbage. And it's been that way since the Nintendo days. I mean, realistically, it is important to bring innovation, but unfortunately it's kind of the business. You know what I mean? It's just how it is. And you have to try new things, and sometimes they stick, sometimes they don't. It's just being a gamer. I guess it's really on us to be able to determine whether or not we actually want to spend the time figuring out if we like something, if it's garbage or if it's good, or, and that plays into the whole review culture and everything else, unfortunately. So not one thing, you can't blame one thing for the problem of whatever you like. You like games, you can't blame one problem and say, if we only fixed, all these cheap games that keep coming out that are pay to win or whatever, then all of gaming would be fine. No, it all's connected. So
true.
Yeah. Feel free to tell us your thoughts if you really want to. We'll read them.
Maybe.
I mean, I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm done with I said everything I need to say. Do you have more?
No.
There you have it. Don't send us anything. We won't
Screw
read
this.
it.
Yeah, I don't even care if you have anything to say.
We're going to play an overclocked remix. You'll be lucky if we come back at this point. Apparently, the whole tone of the show just kind of, we're done. We hate games now.
All games.
All games. All games suck. I hate everything. We're going to play an overclocked remix. The interesting thing about this, though, is that typically Jason is the one who's doing the talking while I quickly scramble.
I can do that. I can do it. Spin the wheel and I can talk.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about what OC Remix is for those who are not initiated and even for those who are?
So ocremix.org is dedicated to the appreciation and promotion of video game music as an art form. So overall, people take video game music, mash it up, twirl it, sometimes make an awesome metal remix or a sweet EDM music remix or just some chiptune stuff. So as always, every week here at Fluxtaposed, we like to spin a little wheel that Lucas has painstakingly engineeed.
It's been a while
in his
since
garage.
We've brought that myth to light.
Yes. He built it in his garage, and it's a little wobbly, but it's okay. Duct tape, dog, kind of ate some poop next to it, threw up, but it still works, so it's fine.
It's brown now, so now brown
wheel. So we're gonna spin that brown wheel and find out what OC remix we will play today.
Ooh, dang! Okay, of course we talked about it last week. This seems to be a pretty slow month for remixes, but we did talk about how there was a new what is the name of the game? Skies of Arcadia. Sorry, I wanted to say Legends for some reason. Just saturating the market here. And of course that came up first. But after I re-spun the wheel, I wanted to say re-roll. You don't roll a wheel. Well, wheels roll, but
wheel.
Yeah.
Wheels roll.
Yeah. I talked myself into a corner here. Allow myself to introduce myself. I respun the wheel, and we came up with Shovel Knight.
Ooh.
Yes, I'm looking forward to this. Is actually the one that I wanted. I was like, well, do you just want to? And then I saw Quake was on there, and oh no.
Is it More Might? More Might?
No. More Might, yes. Talk to us about Shovel Knight in this song. You.
So the remix is called More Might from Shovel Knight, as you mentioned, by artist Hypetream. I don't know. It is fighting with all of our might. Primary game, Shovel Knight, Yacht Club Games, 2014. It is described as metal, electric guitar, aggressive,
yes,
energetic, distortion, and tempo fast.
I love it when we did the Fluxtaposed radio, the first episode, and literally everything was described as aggressive because we did battle music. So, and you can go and listen to that. And so it was ridiculous to go through and just be like, and it's aggressive, and it's aggressive. Also, it's aggressive. It's just weird to me that they would bother to, I wouldn't say aggressive is a genre.
Oh, I would.
Ooh. Can you have aggressive operatic? Mixed.
Sure, you're just really angry while you're singing opera.
Oh, yeah.
Or you're angry because you're singing opera and nobody actually knows the words that you're saying.
That's true. Like in Final Fantasy VII when Sephiroth comes around and it's... Yeah, that's aggressive. You're right.
Yep.
Dang. You showed me. This
So
is why
you
you're on
learned
the
something
show.
today.
Jason's just got replaced. Oh. I didn't just say that, did I?
Tom Servo, aggressive smooth jazz is my favorite genre. That sweet Yaz flute.
Yes, exactly. Boy, he's playing that flute very aggressively today. Must have had a bad day at work. I'm ready. Let's start. Hey, yeah. You've played Shovel Knight, right?
Yeah, I did.
You liked it?
I did. I wasn't huge on all the DLC that everyone else liked as much. I like the core game.
Spectre of Torment was good. What was the other one that everyone...
Plague Knight.
Plague Knight, yeah. I didn't mind Plague Knight too much. The problem laid in... The boss fights were really easy because of the powers, and then the levels were, like, brutally difficult.
Brutal hard. Yep.
It was weird. Usually it's the other way
we're still waiting for King of Cards, 3 years later at this point?
Yeah, that's...
4 years later?
And
4 years.
Like we've talked about before, it'd be nice to see Yacht Club Games do...
something new.
Anything else.
Yeah.
Like, just show me you can do something else. Show me your moves. So we're going to show you our moves right now, but you won't be able to see
the dance off?
We could, but I wouldn't want to shame you. Instead, I'm going to play this Shovel Knight remix from ocremix.org. And of course, you can find this remix and many more at ocremix.org. He knew. So we'll play this and we'll be back. Wow.
So then I said to him, at the bar, I'm like, "That's not my kid." oh, we're live. We're live.
Oh, yeah. Oof, that poor kid. Rest in peace, little Jimmy. Wow,
Bye-bye,
that was
baby.
Bye-bye, baby. Bye-bye, baby. Roll credits. That song, I was getting a little bit of Iron Maiden vibes from there or something, It was that dun 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 dun. I felt like I needed to get like on a horse and just run to the hills, you know what I'm saying?
That explains exactly what you were doing off camera then. That was
Well, I got on my horse, if you know what I'm saying. I don't even know what I'm saying. What the hell's going on? Do you want to talk some what you playing?
Oh, I do.
I should just play that every time I make a bad joke because that's kind of like, and everyone freeze frames and it was like terrible joke.
No, you need the Price is Right, the music, the bum 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 bum.
See, that's what everybody would expect, but comedy is about subverting expectations. And that's your lesson for today. Kevin.
I mean, that sums up Fluxtaposed as a whole, really.
Subverting expectations. Everyone expected
totally.
it to be good, and they were like, wow, this is terrible. And then they laughed at us. So it works. You're right.
It does.
Tell me what you've been doing.
Oh, okay. So we'll start with this one because we already talked about a little bit. Was Apex Legends, and you can chime in too with your one match experience here.
Yes. And what a match it was.
What a match it was. So, yeah, we talked a little bit about it before, but Battle Royale game done by the makers of Titanfall. Really well polished. It is a hero-esque shooter battle royale type thing where your characters, as we mentioned before, does have special abilities that are unique to them. So you have like healers, you have people who can track better, you have my favorite is Mirage, who can put out decoys of himself out there, so the enemy sees you and then you split into two and they don't know which one's real. Or I can actually do like 10 with my ultimate move and it just runs all over the place. Really digging it. It's super polished, and I mean, this is just a amazing story where it's like, hey, this game was rumored that Titanfall was working on a battle royale, and then the next day they announced it, and it was also available right then and there. And
they were like,
just running with it.
Hey, we got this game. Like, I don't know if anybody's interested, but we'll throw it up for download, I guess.
Yeah, and people are going nuts. And I mean, you know, you play it on if you have EA access on Xbox One, you get like bonus coins right off the bat. That's how I was able to buy my extra character because Mirage and there's another guy that's unlockable that you need to purchase with in-game currency. And if you play it on PlayStation, you get a founder's kit for playing on PlayStation. So it's like they all give you perks, just download and play right now, which is what people are digging. But
I don't feel like Origin gave me anything for PC.
No, I don't think they did either. I downloaded it, but I didn't even try on the PC. I'm like, I don't think my computer can handle it, so I better just play on an Xbox. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it. I don't know, maybe 25, 30 matches in so far over the past week. So
wow.
I'm liking it. I still keep going back to Fortnite though, but just because the solo experience is a little bit easier sometimes. But there's been some really great matches in Apex Legends, and sometimes you just get those asshat teammates that just want to do their own thing and get killed right away.
Yeah, I had an experience like that. So I just, because I'm a good teammate, I just followed there. Now there's an actual team leader, right?
There's a drop leader, yes, where you drop in and somebody can direct where you're going to land, but you can still break off from that if you want.
I did see that, and I didn't because I'm not an asshat, and I want to be a part of the team. And also, it was very clear that me and the other person, the second person, not the team leader, had no experience with this game whatsoever. So it was just like, I'm just going to follow this guy. I forgot that you have to you have to find your weapons because it being a hero game, I feel like I should start with something.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was like, not that I have to, but that was my immediate, like, how do I bring my weapon up? Oh, that's right. I don't have one yet. And then of course that leads into the fact that I have never shot any of the weapons except for in the tutorial of any of these. So I find stuff and the guy was on voice chat and he says, oh, you should pick up this shotgun. I can't remember what it's called, but he said, if you let it charge up, it really does a lot of damage. And I'm just like, how do I do that? How do I charge it up? I just want to shoot things. I don't understand. Am I going to mess this up? I'm scared. So I played as the tank guy. I can't remember his name. Gibraltar. Yes. And I like the movement. The movement feels very fluid. I enjoyed that. I didn't know what I was doing. I don't think I killed anybody. I shot at them. A lot. I think it's one of those things where you just have to play with somebody and really get used to because they have powers. They have, like he has that shield you can throw down, but also when you go into iron sights, he has this arm shield thing, which I was not prepared for. I said, "What?" I'm like, "What is going on? Am I invulnerable right now? What is this?" So, overall, it was. I wouldn't say it was a positive experience, but it wasn't a bad experience. Mostly because I feel like I didn't do anything. So if I played with people who I knew, I think it'd be a little bit different. But overall, I can definitely see, like you said, it's polished. It doesn't feel like a cash grab. I never felt like I had to buy anything.
No.
So that was nice. So the only thing that's really holding me back is it is another battle royale game, and I don't know if that might not be a genre that really jives with me. But overall, I will say that it would change my mind about complaining about it. For instance, seeing other people play it, I wouldn't go, ugh. I'd just be like, oh yeah, I could see why you'd play that. So.
And 322,000 viewers on Twitch right now are watching Apex being streamed. So
they're not even playing; they're just watching somebody.
They're just watching. So that just shows you right there. It's a free game, so they all could be playing right now too. But nope, I'm just gonna watch somebody else do it better than me.
No, I'm at work, so I can't play games, but I can watch somebody else play a game.
Yeah, right. But yeah, so I'm having fun with that. second thing, I'll do a little bit of what you watching, as you like to do often.
Yes.
And you talked about it last week, so I went and ventured and watched Venom as well.
I cannot wait to hear your thoughts on this.
So I talked with you a little bit about it, off the airwaves, and the last 10 minutes of that movie were the best 10 minutes of that movie.
It's the only
it's
10 minutes
sad.
I needed to see.
Yeah, it's terrible. Like the dynamics between Eddie Brock and Venom at the end of the movie was much better than throughout the entire movie, as it was. Basically setting the ground rules like, all right, you can eat people, but just bad people, kind of deal. And
yeah,
I think if they do another one, which I'm pretty sure they will, because like I said, as bad as it was, it made a ton of money. That I can't see them turning it away. Although I really hope they involve Marvel more in it, because this is one of those ones that Sony still did on their own because they have the rights to Venom. So that's why I was in partnership with Marvel, but it's only because Marvel owns the character, but Sony owns the movie.
They basically said, okay, you can make this movie. I don't think they had any other... I mean,
Marvel didn't even have a choice. When Marvel was going bankrupt in the 90s, Sony bought Spider-Man, Venom, and there was another one that they bought too. I forget. So they still have the rights to them. Now they decided to play nice with Spider-Man Homecoming and letting Spider-Man and the Avengers. That was a partnership that they worked out.
Yes.
That obviously worked out really well, because those were great movies.
So much
but then
better.
Sony still said, we're still going to do Venom on our own without your input. So it's just because Marvel technically owns Venom, Sony owns the movie rights for Venom, so they have to put the name on it, but Marvel didn't have anything to do with it.
They were like a prepubescent child, and they were like, no, I still want to do one. Let me do one. I think the last 10 minutes are the best, mostly because what I was expecting out of this film is the answering, or the bandying about of this question, and that's, is it okay to be an anti-hero who eats bad guys? You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to see a struggle where you're killing people and they're bad guys, but is that okay? Batman would have a really hard time with that.
Dexter.
Yes, I wanted superhero Dexter.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, no, you're right. It's tough. But I mean, look at Deadpool. Deadpool does the same thing, essentially.
That's true.
And Deadpool works. And I think what this movie struggled with is just they couldn't build that dynamic early on between Eddie Brock and Venom. And they spent way too long on developing the character of Eddie Brock, who ultimately didn't matter.
He
was a nobody
at all.
completely.
They were
like he just was nothing.
They were like, let's develop this character, and then they didn't develop him. He just went from I'm telling you, he goes from place to place and talks to people. Even when he's not a journalist, that's all he does. Yep. And then Venom comes along and says, we should probably put some action in this movie.
Exactly. And that's what it wasn't. Like, Eddie Brock has no control over Venom. It's not like when he's in Venom mode, per se, like he has any say in what's going on at all. Venom just does whatever he wants. He has control over him. So it was kind of weird to have this inner struggle that was happening a lot, where he's like, I don't know what to do. And then when they separated, he felt bad, which was weird, because like you hated this thing the whole time and all of a sudden you're cool with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if they do another one, it should be a lot better. But Tom Hardy, man, I don't know what it is. He's weird. I can't get behind him. Like it's just the way he talked and everything. Like I didn't get it at all. It was terrible.
I blame the people who let him do that too, because the director, they just let him do it. I didn't mind the voice so much. It was the character's reactions. Like sometimes he's joking about things, and then other times he's legitimately scared, like on the motorcycle and stuff. And I'm just like, you can't be both. You can't be this like wacky, crazy guy, but then also, saying we can't eat people unless they're bad people. I don't know. No. It felt really hard to follow.
Yeah, it really did. So I'm hopeful they do another one. I mean, Woody Harrelson, I'm excited. God. I mean, he looked weird. Like, the red wig, that was bad.
He's like 55 years old or something.
Yeah. But I mean, dude can't do anything wrong. I mean,
That's true.
He is amazing to watch in any role that he does, regardless of what it is. So if they do another one, I hope they do, just because of that. I think they'll fix a lot of the issues. They've developed Venom as a character, so there's no more of that building going on. So it's more just going to be about the dynamic between Eddie and Venom, and then Carnage if it happens. So we'll see. Other than that, I'll talk a little bit about this, because I don't know if you've watched it. Have you watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
I have watched like the first 2 seasons.
Okay.
And then I kind of fell off for no apparent reason whatsoever.
Okay, so I tried it years ago when everyone was talking about it. Like I think it was when it first came out, actually. Okay. And I watched like 5 episodes, and I gave it a shot, and I was like, man, this show is stupid. I couldn't get behind it. I gave up on it.
Well, it is stupid.
Well, yeah. But my wife and daughter have been watching them because like they're all on Hulu now. So they've been watching them, and I've like caught bits and pieces here and there. I'm like, I should go back and watch this. So Tuesdays is my work from home day now. So I literally just stream Brooklyn Nine-Nine all day and kind of watch it as I'm working kind of deal. So like it's on in the background. And I will say I should have given it a bigger chance to begin with, because it is a very funny show. Like it's up there for me now. It's slow burn at first, but then I remember The Office was the same thing too. Like the first season of The Office was pretty bad.
Yeah, there's
And
a
then-
lot
then
of
it got funny.
characters. There's like you just have to get to know like how the characters are, and then once you get that down, you can concentrate on what's funny. That's how it went for me, because I felt like some of the characters weren't funny until I got, oh, that's their thing. Like what the girl who's like the tough girl.
Yes.
But she's really not, but she is. It's weird. But you get to know her character, and that's when it becomes funny. Otherwise, she's just kind of annoying tough girl at first, and you're just like,
exactly. I mean, Terry Crews is awesome too, so you gotta love Terry.
Yes.
And his character is great because he's such a big like softie at the same time, which is just fantastic.
Exactly.
But, yeah, it's good. Like I said, it's just like Parks and Rec and Office for me. Like it was a little bit of a slow burn, but then like once it gets going, I'm like, oh, I really like this show. So
yes,
I'm enjoying that. So if you get time, go back and check that out. And last thing I'll talk about is only because I know you and Jason love it as much as I do.
Yes.
Overcooked 2. I completed the Chinese New Year expansion already with my wife. We sat down this weekend, knocked the whole thing out.
Dang. And what does that comprise of? What's the food you're making?
So it's 7 new kitchens. They introduce a wok dynamic.
Oh, okay.
And you end up doing so first off, there's a bunch of fruit salads you can do, which are easy. Just chop the fruit and throw it on the same plate, serve it up, good to go. The woks are kind of a bitch. I forget I can swear on the show.
Yes, you can.
Because you have to put the flour in with the protein of your choice, as well as what is the name? Bok choy. You cut in a bok choy and throw it in the wok too. But the wok, there's different cauldrons on your maps. There's 4 cauldrons, but only 2 are lit at any given time. So you might put all your food in the wok and it's cooking, but then that fire goes out. You got to move the wok to the other station and go back and forth. So like that's the dynamic that gets in your way. Those and the Chinese dragons, you know, like where like you get like 10 people lined up underneath the dragon costume, and they kind of walk in a chain.
Yeah.
Those go around the map too, and those also get in your way a lot too. So those are the dynamic there. I will say, did you play the Surf and Turf? No, I don't think you guys.
No, not yet. No. That was kind of like our next ambitious idea. So eventually, I'm sure.
Okay. So, did you do the Christmas levels?
I didn't even know there were Christmas levels.
Okay, so there's a Christmas DLC that's out. That's also free, just like this one.
My goodness.
I will say they're easier levels than I've experienced since the core game came out, because I found the core game to be a little bit tough to get 3 stars and everything, because that's what me and my wife did in the first one. Every achievement 3 stars, every kitchen. This Overcooked 2 is a lot harder, and like the Surf and Turf one is really hard, but the Chinese New Year one is probably the easiest one that we've come across so far, but it's still a lot of fun. It adds 2 new chefs too. It's one of the Chinese dragons and a pink boar, because it's Year of the Pig or whatever, so they added a new chef for that as well.
Obviously.
Yeah, but it's a lot of fun. So, I mean, my wife knocked it all out one afternoon. We just sat down, a couple hours, took out the whole thing. A lot of fun.
So what you're saying is you knew you could talk the talk, but you weren't sure if you could walk the walk?
Oh, not only do we walk the walk, we rock the walk.
Whoa. Oh, dang. Sir, you are too much for this Southern Belle.
Good night, everybody.
Kevin Austin, everybody. We love him. I don't see those bits rolling in now.
Yeah, what the hell?
I told you, I said, I'll let you on the show, but you got to earn them bits.
I'm not taking my shirt off again.
Can we at least see the cleavage? Show us the cleavage. Bring in the cleavage. All right. Remember when this show was going to go an hour and 30 minutes? I almost said 1 minute and 30 seconds. What a ridiculous thing to say. I will go now, and I will talk about movies, because I watched some. One of which is Halloween 2019 edition. Not the original. Not the remake, but the remake.
No,
you follow me? Well, it's a reboot. Well, no, it's a sequel.
It's technically the last one in the series.
Yeah, it's a sequel that came like 20 years later. It's very
like the Battlefield numbering system. This is the last one, but it's not the number. It doesn't follow.
And it's not numbered at all. Yeah, they just kind of went with Halloween again. Classic move. It was, the best way I can describe it is that it was a little bit campy, It was a little bit fun. I just didn't have to. I actually have to apologize to the movie itself because in my mind I thought there's a part. It's not a huge spoiler really, but there's a part where a girl runs out of a car because she gets attacked by Jason, and she runs, instead of running to the cops, which are right in front of her, she runs straight to the woods. Now,
Okay, first off, that was a major spoiler. Jason is in this movie.
did I say Jason?
Yes.
Well, he's the better of the two anyways. Not this Jason. The Jason on the show isn't out killing people right now, and that's why he couldn't be here. I want to make that clear. And then secondly, Jason from
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th
Voorhees.
is better than Voorhees, yes. Jason V is better than Michael Myers. Not Michael Myers
like from
from
Shrek,
Austin
or-
Powers. Yes. To be clear, to be crystal clear. So anyways, Halloween Man is after this girl and she runs into the woods. And I think, isn't this just basically running upstairs? Like, isn't that? And then I thought about it later because this is what I do. I don't know why. I can't just watch a movie and let it go. I have to like continue to think about it. And then I realized, wait a minute, she knows that's her grandma's house. Like, she's running to her grandma's house. So of course she takes the shortcut in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes sense. And I'm over here just, this movie's stupid. Why would she run in the woods? Obviously she's going to die. And then I took like 2 seconds to think about it. So I'm sorry. I didn't watch the movie good, and I apologize. And with all that said, I'd give this a 3 out of 5. Out of 5. You gotta wait.
You guys
for
need
it.
a Casey Kasem impersonation.
Coming
That's a
in at the
3
number 1
out of 5.
That was a little low for him. I feel like he's like somehow low, but at the same time very
Hi.
Yeah. Maybe he knows the secret that I don't. The other thing that speaking of getting high, Fire. I watched this thing that kids were talking about called Fire. I didn't even know what this Fire Festival was.
I don't know. I've seen that a lot. Like, a lot of people are talking like they didn't know what this thing was. Like, this was huge because it was such a like false advertising thing. It was who's the rapper that was tied to it? I'm sure they brought
Ja
it up in the
Rule.
thing. Ja Rule, that's right. Like, it was a huge scam by Ja Rule. And all
He
that
should be
stuff.
renamed Ja Tool because he's such a tool. Am I right, guys?
Oh.
Am I right? Got him.
Burn.
Anyways,
Fire.
I'm sure. Yeah, good thing they're called Fire because you just got burned. I'm sure I have heard of it. I just saw it on my phone or something, looked at the headline, then went, I don't know what that is. So I'm sure I had some awareness and then immediately forgot about it. But anyways, Fire Festival thing. I watched the Netflix one. And first of all, amazing. Wow. What a horrible job they did. like at what point do you just decide maybe we don't do it? And apparently that point never came. They just decided in the face of all things that told them not to do it. They said, you know what? Let's be positive. And with that mindset, let's just do it anyways.
Well, that's what we tell kids now, that they could do anything if they put their mind to it.
Well,
And this
they
clearly did not work out.
Yes. Not music
Don't tell your kids
festivals.
that. Just
Yes.
don't tell your kids that. They cannot do whatever they want.
So-
to put their mind to it.
I found this to be completely fascinating. Even though I knew nothing. Maybe it was because I knew nothing about it, but my Lord. Like, wow. Incredible. How does that happen? In a day and age where we have so much information, it just seems like people would be just not go. You know what I mean? Like, you see all these pictures about how terrible. I mean, they got leaked. Granted, it wasn't like on the news or anything, but before it happened, you see all these pictures, and I'm just like, why did people still go? I don't understand, but I don't know. Obviously, I'm not able to afford a ticket to go to that thing, so I am not in the demographic. But it was good.
Hey, you didn't go, so you won, really.
That's true. That's true. It did kind of make me feel bad for the people that did win. What the hell? Did win.
They done did go. They done did go to that fire.
What is in this beer? Some kind of stupidity juice? So those are the things I watched. I watched other things, but who really cares? I played some games. Mass Effect. I beat it. That's all I really want to say. Let's get that out of the way anyways. I played it before. The first one. It's still... holds a dear place in my heart, even though it's janky and kind of, I don't know, it's just weird. But overall, I forgot to mention that I did install some HD texture packs and some other stuff that kind of helps make it a little bit more palatable to today's sensibilities. But yeah, I just beat it. I didn't do any of the side stuff because I said screw that. Battlefield 1, I've already talked about this a little bit, but I want to mention I played the single player campaign and I did the air missions where you fly, and I don't know who was in charge of this, but my God, they removed the rudder controls. Now, if you're flying in a straight line, what that means is you can no longer just kind of slowly list left or right, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but when you're trying to twist, but then also right yourself, like to make sure you're not ending up upside down, or you get in a situation where you've turned so much that it's hard to right yourself again without those controls. Because when all you can do is do a barrel roll, basically, you're stuck. You're kind of forced to. It'd be like trying to dance with one leg. I need my other leg, please. Some people can get by with one leg and dance. Not me. I need 2 legs, possibly even 3. So I don't know whose oversight that was. Battlefield. I saw what you did. 3 legs. What a ridiculous joke. Anyways, I don't know who was in charge of this. Battlefield is supposed to be the more realistic one out of the group, but my God. I don't know.
I will say Fortnite has airplanes and they have rudder controls.
Exactly. That's what innovation. See, 100% innovation. Changed my mind. Every game is good, except for Battlefield 1. VR time. Let's talk about VR. That's really what I want to talk about. I've been away from VR for far too long. Far too long. If you're a longtime listener of the show, I have been a proponent of VR since, I've been waiting for my Oculus to get here, my Rift, so I can Rift. And then for me, the problem becomes I need contacts, and I don't always have contacts because I decided to get those glasses that are huge, and they don't fit over my glasses, and that would be horrible anyways. Yeah. So, and then I moved my computer around and stuff, and I got away from it. Well, I'm back now, and I'm back with a vengeance. Because, first of all, let's talk about Oculus Home. So, it used to be back in the day, you would put on Oculus Rift, and it would just be a menu, basically, for lack of a better word. It would be a menu that just floated in front of you. And there would be an environment around you, but you couldn't really explore it. It just was kind of background, whatever. Now, you have an entire space dedicated to you. You can decorate it however you want. You can change the theme. You can change the music that plays. Other people can come in, as long as you set it as public, and join you in VR in your space. Ooh. Or you can meet other people at other spaces. It really reminded me of Ready Player One, or at least the very beginnings. And the reason I say that is not because they have there are other programs that allow you to do like VR chat room, for instance, that allow you to just be there. But the problem with that is that it's a separate app that you have to launch. Now, this is more like a Steam situation where you just boot it up and you're automatically plopped in there. So now that means because you can walk around your room, you can place a virtual console, a virtual game machine, and all of the games that are in your library are cartridges that you can place on a table. And so to start up a game, all you have to do is go pick up one of these cartridges, put it in the game console, and press the big button, and it launches the game. There's almost no need to really look at any of these menus. And that's what VR needed to be at the beginning. We're catching up now, but it's just those little touches that weren't thought of because nobody really knew how to VR. You know what I mean? A lot of the games started like, you can interact with everything. You can pick up like Job Simulator. You can pick up everything you can see. That gets old after like 2 seconds. You need a reason to pick up everything you can see. This isn't Skyrim. You're not poor. You're not just grabbing everything and selling it to Joe Blow over on the corner there at the general goods store. No, there's no reason. You just throw it all. So I don't know.
Did anybody try and have sex with you in your personal space?
If they did, I didn't know about
That's
it.
what they're not using VR right.
I hadn't plopped a bed down yet, so maybe that becomes an option after.
Get a nice bearskin rug.
Yes, in front of a fireplace. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There is a fireplace because why not? Right. It's got to be homey. The other VR things I did, I played a game called Onward. I told Callow I would talk about this. So, Onward was a free weekend game. They're starting to do this every once in a while, I've noticed. It's a military shooter that you actually, instead of doing the teleport thing that you normally do in a lot of games where you have to move by teleporting instead of actually locomotion, like walking like you normally would. And when I say that, I mean with a thumbstick, not by physically walking. This allows you to do that. And it also, all of your gear is on your body. You look down and you have a body. Your gun is hanging off your chest. Your frag grenades are up here. Your ammo is on your belt. And what that means is, like, when you're ready to engage people, not for marriage, but to shoot them. Weird that you can say engage people and mean love and also killing them.
Yeah.
But that's another podcast. You just grab your weapon and your run speed is determined, for instance, by if it's lowered. So you use your Oculus Touch controls to lower your weapon and you can run faster, just like you would in real life. Well, I don't know why that makes you run faster, but I've seen it in movies, so it must be true. Then you raise your weapon, you start shooting fools. You know, it's great. You throw grenades like you normally would throw grenades. You pull the pin with your hand. Everything makes sense. There's no button to throw grenades. You just grab it. And you are able to move around in real space, which means if you go up against a wall and you're at the corner, you don't have to press left trigger to lean. You just lean your body.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
You just look over. So if you're a fat slob like me, that's horrible. But you forget about that because you're in VR. You would never do it in real life, but I would never be crouching around. You crouch in real life, you crouch in the game. Thankfully, if you die in the game, you don't die in real life. It only goes one way. So that's good, at least for now. You know, maybe that's a Black Mirror situation where, you know, you will die in VR and you die in real life.
It's Matrix.
That's true. So true. Everything comes back to the Matrix. So, yeah, very impressed. Of course, now it's not free anymore, so I'm never going to play it again. Boom.
Absolutely. Can you tuck your gun in your waistband? I know you mentioned everything was on you. Could you actually, like gangster style? Because that'd be kind of awesome.
I wouldn't recommend it because you could blow your virtual nuts off, but
it doesn't happen in real life, as you said it.
Not yet. But you don't want to set a precedence where you're used to that. Next thing you know,
there goes nutless Ned.
There's a reason why he doesn't make any sound when he moves.
No bits jangling.
That's right.
Anyways,
I played Arizona Sunshine. I thought this was going to be a fairly stationary shoot up the zombies game. Turns out it's not. It's actually, now granted, you do teleport to move. However, you have free reign. You can move around the map. You actually have to go from point A to point B. There's voice acting, which is really good. It's very well polished. The gunplay feels pretty good. The thing I've noticed about gunplay in general in VR is when you use the Oculus Touch controllers, sometimes it feels like you have to rotate your wrist up and down to shoot straight. So it might feel like you're actually like pushing down when you're actually shooting straight, or vice versa. You might be shooting upward a little bit and it shoots straight. So they haven't seemed to been able to get that under control yet. It kind of changes from game to game. They might want to.
You're supposed to hold your gun sideways.
I have tried that. This is like the first thing I tried. I'm like, how accurate is this really? It turns out not really at all. But yeah, that's pretty fun. I got into, because there's going to be a level where there's a flashlight involved. There's zombies. It's not particularly scary, which I actually prefer because I don't care how not scared you get. There is a part of your brain that will be tricked by the fact that are, you might not feel scared, but you're in danger at the very least. This had kept away from that until I went into a mine with a flashlight and felt like I couldn't see anything unless I was pointing directly at it. The other game I played was PokerStars VR. I only bring this up because it's really the only social game that I played. It's free, at least it is right now. It's not like a free weekend. It's just free to play. And you do what it says. You play poker. The reason why I downloaded this was because I used to play poker on the 360. There was a free poker game on there that a lot of people would play. And I actually liked it. I'm not really a big poker fan, but I enjoyed playing it. Now, the problem is with virtual poker, the money isn't real, so no one really gives a shit, which means they go all in all the time.
All the time.
And I'm just like, you know what? I either get to play this hand and go all in, or I don't get to play at all. I got a 9 and a 3 constantly. Different suits, but it was just always 9 and 3. I'm like, oh, I'll just sit here. The funny thing is, though, is that they bothered to program in like cigarettes that actually attach to your mouth when you.
Nice.
So you have it like it looks like it's coming out of your mouth, and it actually gets smoked. The longer you hold it in your mouth, and you actually have to light it, the longer or the shorter the actual cigarette gets. And now this is going to become a gift because I'm doing actions around my mouth.
Yep.
Cigars. You can buy a beer and actually drink it. Of course, you don't actually get drunk in real life, but that's coming too. I'm telling you, they got it all worked out. The government's going to have us in pods. The Matrix. See, exactly. We're just going to be batteries.
Batteries. Yep.
So pretty cool, pretty interesting. The worst part about the game was the people. I would rather just go to a real casino because at least everyone there is not like smoking pot in my ear, at least not yet. So really, really happy with my VR experience in the last week. Just loads better. You know, now we're actually playing games instead of you can stand on top of a high building and you're going to be scared because it's like you're going to fall off, but you don't. So we got away from that.
That's good.
Well, we're going a little long. That does it for what you playing for me. We're going a little long, so we're going to do the around the web, but we're going to cut out some of the garbo that we have added and only speak to the things that were given to us by our dear listeners, because I rule this place with an iron fist. You know, Jason, I'm giving him a hard time, but he just lets whatever fly. As you know, you've heard, he just lets me say whatever I want. But now I have to keep a tight rein on things because I'm in charge.
Iron Fist was canceled by Netflix, so
thank God. Does that mean I don't have to watch it now? Because that's an entirely different show. That's for next week. Let's talk about Mr. Dan Anthony, man on the street. He's got a news article and he comments that it's estimated to be 1,000 pounds. I love it. I would have freaked out myself. What is he talking about? Well, he's talking about a toiga. KPRC2 Houston, that's a mouthful, gives us an update that says man smoking pot finds tiger in abandoned house. Says he thought he was hallucinating. What do you think about this, Kevin? Have you ever hallucinated either an abandoned house or a tiger or both?
No. I don't recall. This sounds like a bad scene cut out of The Hangover 4. Like this was gonna be the concept for the Hangover 4.
No, tigers hate cinnamon.
It's just bad. The best part is the article goes out of its point to say it is not legal to own a tiger in this state. It's like, no duh.
Is it legal to own a tiger anywhere in America?
I doubt it unless you're Siegfried and Roy.
No. This is my rescue, or no, what do they call them? Oh, dang it. I had a hilarious joke.
Yeah.
Disability. For people with disabilities, they know they have animals that help them. What are they called?
I'm blanking on the name too.
Now I don't feel so bad. Good Lord. I cannot believe.
But the pets will make you feel better because you have problems.
Yes, this is my that.
My compassion pet. I don't know what it's
Yes, my compassion tiger. Compassion tiger sounds like an awesome scent that you would buy from like a knockoff scent you would buy from Japan. Yeah. I love it.
What to get your man this holiday season? Compassion Tiger by Hugo Boss.
And then it's just like a really echoey line.
70% of the time it works every time. Compassion Tiger.
That's my kind of math right there. Let's see what this says, shall we? The tiger was peaceful and calm, waiting in his cage Tuesday morning and appeared to be in good shape. We're excited Wait a second.
Like
a male
like
tiger.
good shape as in it works out regularly, or
Wow, that tiger's in really good shape. He takes good care of himself.
He's
So he was
swole.
Tuesday and loaded the tiger, which was in his original cage, into another trailer. So he was in an abandoned house in a cage. Despite all of his rage, he was just a tiger in a cage. 1,000 pounds of tiger. I mean, I don't care. I don't really care how much the tiger weighs. It could be a starving tiger. It could be out of shape, you know. And I would
that might be scarier because then it's gonna be hungry when you walk in.
Yes, that's true. That is true.
And it was in a cage, a small cage. It was not locked in the cage, but it was locked in the garage. You put a screwdriver and a nylon strap was
My
holding that
God.
garage door closed.
Oh, geez, I missed the best part of the story.
Yeah, and second off,
Woo.
like who breaks into an abandoned house to smoke pot? Just go home, dude. Like,
Yeah, what are you doing?
seriously.
Just stay home. Do not walk around with your paraphernalia loaded with pot. It is
He's like
described
the
as
dude that gets drunk at the bar. It's like just stay home and you can get drunk for like a quarter of the price.
Yeah, but then nobody will know that I'm just really
A douche.
yeah, I was gonna say a loser. Just really don't have a handle on life. Described as a rinky-dink cage in the garage, which was not locked.
Not
yeah.
just any kind. That's the brand
the
name.
rinky-dink. Yes, that's the one we have for my dog. When he eats the poop, we put him in the rinky-dink
The rinky-dink
cage.
cage. And it's compassion animal is what we were looking for.
Compassion animal. Mm,
Yeah. Like, so people try and bring like a snake on a plane.
yes.
Samuel Jackson hates that, but they claim it's a compassion animal.
This snake just gets me, okay? It's the only way it can fly on this plane. It's really horrible. I'm sure it's actually very helpful, but instead I'm going to make fun of it because this is the internet and there are no repercussions for my actions.
It's true. Nobody will ever listen to it, so they won't ever know.
Speaking of no repercussions for actions, Skinny Matt via Discord says, if this passes, will it become a trend? And
No.
what it is violent video game tax proposed. So put your pitchforks down. It hasn't happened yet. Somebody just spoke it, and then they made a news article about it. In Pennsylvania, politicians want to tax violent video games 10% extra.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to get your special edition GameStop exclusive if you have to
Ooh.
pay another 10% on Mortal Kombat 11?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, this isn't the first time too. This is to make note of, like, Pennsylvania's tried this before and not been able to pass it, so I don't anticipate it being passed again. And I think the way around it will still be digital games because it's sold at retail, if you notice. So people will just be like, well, I'm just gonna get the digital copy then. Which, I mean, you look at Sony's growth last year. I mean, they had a huge jump in their digital sales, like even unexpected to them. Like, it went up way higher than expected, and that's because we're seeing these places kind of phase out. Like, GameStop's on the ropes now, and we have less places, and they're not doing like Gamers Club. You know, Best Buy gotten rid of their program, Amazon's getting rid of their discount program. Like, they're all phasing out ways to save that people are like, well, I'll just stay home and buy it digital. I'll get it right away. I don't need to stand in the line at a midnight release party next to, you know, Smokey Joe has been there since 3 p.m, smells like Cheetos and Doritos and Mountain Dew, and listen to him babble for an hour just to get my game. I'll just I'll have it pre-downloaded, and the second it hits midnight, I'm playing.
Not just Mountain Dew, but that gross orange Mountain Dew.
Oh,
not the red one. Yeah, Livewire.
Yeah.
You know, I really don't agree with this tax at all. Regardless of whether or not it passes or not, you cannot basically say that because somebody enjoys something that you find to be abhorrent, you should just tax it. Like,
actually, that's not true. Cigarettes.
I don't smoke. Is there like you're a gross smoker tax?
Well, no, they've taxed the crap out of cigarettes because people find it offensive. Like, that was the whole big thing. Like, not just the health reasons, was to get people to stop smoking in public places and all stuff. But I mean, the tax rate on cigarettes is nuts. But what you run into here is it's just M-rated games. So you're isolating a subset of a subset to say this gets extra tax. How does that even work? That's like doing it to R-rated movies.
And that could have an effect on what, I mean, we might not see M-rated games then. You know what I mean? Like,
that's true too.
It could have an effect one way or the other as far as those go. So
Fortnite's not rated M. Just saying. And look all the money that makes.
It should be, because all those damn kids keep swearing at me, and I swear they're only 10 years old. Either that or they're a girl. I can't tell sometimes if it's a 10-year-old or a girl.
Could be a 10-year-old girl. Which in that case, you should be talking to him on the internet. You get in trouble for that.
That is true. Speaking of shouldn't be talking on the internet, what do you say we wrap up this podcast?
I think that's a great idea because we've gone on way too long and we're getting silly.
We are getting silly. We're already there, my friend.
Silly.
So tune in for the aftercast. I didn't tell you about that part, did I? Where we really just get into the nitty gritty. I'm talking about Kevin.
Me.
You have to stay.
Nitty gritty.
Yeah.
You didn't thank the patron supporters.
Oh, I'm doing it all. I'm just making you feel uncomfortable.
Oh, okay. Well, is this the part where I take off my pants then?
That would make me uncomfortable.
Would it be awkward?
Much like innovation, if you take your pants off, that means I have to do it too. So we're in this together. Anything you can do, I can do also.
See, here's the luxury, guys. The camera's above the waist, rather. I was supposed to say below the waist.
The cameras are only below the waist.
Let me just adjust my camera here, folks.
Oh, boy. Don't forget to put on the macro lens because... And with that, I want to say thank you to all of these patrons who have now stopped donating any of their money to us. But before that happens, we want to give a special thanks to our arbiters of awesomeness. You do it. You get to be on the show. Now everyone's going to be asking to be on. Nobody's going to ask to be on the show. No. Kyle Hyman. Okay, good. I really would be embarrassed if I screwed that up. Tyler Rowlands, Tom Servo, he's in the chat. He managed to make it all the way. No one else did. PSVG, which is actually Donnie, and all of PSVG around one laptop. Matt Knight and blank. Somebody got deleted apparently. And to our executors or there's just an extra space. That's fixed. We'll never have that problem again. And to our executors of excellence, Josh Barboni, Dan Anthony, Man on the Street, Edwin Callow, better known as Callow around the internet, Siri Renee, and Devin Tyus, we say thank you very much. There are better ways to spend your money, but you chose not to, and we appreciate that. If you want to join the Flux Legion on Patreon, please check out patreon.com/Fluxtaposed. Kevin, I want to say thank you so much for being here. I didn't call you Nathan, so I feel like I won in this entire exchange. Anything? Where can we find you? You're gonna find us.
Find me.
They're gonna find us. Yes,
mainly, and on Twitter @PSVG Kevin. If you want to follow my shenanigans,
you should.
Which is Fortnite clips and nonsense. Me making people angry.
Trying to figure out if you're really who you say you are, or if you're some celebrity, or
Food Network star. You know, it is what it is.
All the good. Very entertaining.
Did you see in the chat? I copyrighted a new segment for you. Rift with Riff. So instead of Flex with Flux, it's Rift with Riff. You talk about VR games.
Yeah. Do I have to talk about them from VR though? Because that could be a problem. I can't see.
Well, you don't need to see to talk.
Are you saying where we're going, we don't need eyes?
I mean, when this thing hits 66 miles per hour, you're gonna talk some serious shit. We already talked shit. That was at the beginning of the show.
And on that note, we're gonna leave you guys here. Thank you for listening. Kevin, thanks for being here again. We'll see you next time on Fluxtaposed.
Bye.
Bye. There it is.